The Little Pink Book by J.T. Lawrence. Her scream smashes the ceiling. It knocks over a vase of blue chrysanthemums, whips out of the room and into the corridor, bowling over nurses as it goes. It is eardrum-popping, eye-watering, and desolate. Sister Angelica's disembodied head appears at the doorway. Jesus. "Is everything all right in here?" she demands, jowls aquiver. "Yes, sister." My rubber soles squeak innocence. "But what is all this noise about? I could hear the bawling from the chapel." My smile is glacé. I mop up the spilt water from the fallen flowers. "Well," I venture, "this is a maternity ward." Sister Angelica's eyes disappear and reappear in an extravagant show of blinking. I put my hands on my hips. "A baby's head circumference is usually around 35 centimeters, I add, in case she didn't quite get the point. An apoplectic jump. "Well, it's upsetting the geriatrics. They're all in a flurry. They can't hear the television and now they're refusing to take their meds. Could you at least make an effort to keep it down?" "Oh, of course," I say. "By all means. God bless the geriatrics." A departing sniff and she is gone. I take my patient's wrist to measure her pulse against my wristwatch. I wink at her. "Let's see if you can scream any louder." Sister Angelica detests midwives. She thinks of us as unnatural. The irony of that, I'm sure, escapes her. I think the whole idea of reproduction escapes her. I can imagine her nose stinging at the thought of it. The steamy interchanging of bodily fluids, the milk swelling of breasts, the gush of water, the inky blood. Immaculate conception is far more her cup of holy water. If she were residing over a birth, the patient would probably be told to lie still, stay quiet, and keep her legs crossed. Bless the Catholics. My patient, Miss June Catrilby, is a lovely woman. Yes, Sister Angelica would be throwing her frown around if only she knew that an illegitimate baby was causing all this fuss. June and I got along right away. It's critical that an expectant mother likes and trusts her midwife. When one is in such a vulnerable position, one needs to be in the company of only those she trusts. We'll have a doctor on standby and an attending nurse, but for the most part it will be June and I doing the work. June told me that the father of the baby ran away, seemingly without a backward glance. June didn't seem too bothered about it. Said that they'd be better off without him. He's probably married. Or worse, in politics. I am by no stretch of the imagination a moralist, but I do believe that a child needs a father. At least June knows that I am here for her. I wanted to be a surgeon, but I failed my 5th year of med school. I was the only woman admitted to the medical faculty that year, and I skipped eating and sleeping on most days to keep up with the workload until one day I just fell down in a practical exam. My psychologist at the time attributed it to burnout. I'd put myself under too much pressure for too long. I was hospitalized for exhaustion. It was a relief. I stuck an IV drip in my arm and spent a few days sleeping. Every insipid meal, every scribble on a clipboard, every blip on the heart machine was a reminder of my failure. I silenced the damning voices in my head with various pills. I thought I would never be able to pay off my many student loans until I eventually found a job that could hoist me out of my debt and beyond. Now I help bring little babies into the world, and I'm sure I'm much better off than someone who has to deal with the gauze of surgery. Plus, it doesn't hurt to be able to afford new pairs of shoes every now and then. I've delivered over 500 babies. I keep a record of each and every one in my little pink book that I carry in my purse. It's for my eyes only. Sometimes, at night, I lie in bed and wonder how all those sweet little babies are doing. Of course, all babies are special, but some are more special than others. Some babies you just never forget. June screams until she can't hold the note anymore. It ends in a blunt groan. "We're almost there," I assure her, snapping off my glove and being careful to not touch anything with my bare hands. I never touch anything in a birthing room without gloves on. She has dilated to 8 centimeters. It's almost time to push. She claws my arm. I wince. "I can't do it," she says. "I can't do it." Her grey lips plead with me. "Of course you can." I say, reclaiming my wrist. She begins to cry. Small, sad sobs. You're going to be just fine. It will be like we practiced, remember? Sob. I've always been fascinated with babies, the way they grow in their mother's wombs, taking the lion's share of blood nutrients, how they enter the world, blue and kicking, probably wishing they could go back to their dark, sticky cocoon, their clenched little fists, their eyes like schoolyard marbles. Even after 528 babies, I still wonder at these sublime little creatures. I can see that June is exhausted. Her hospital gown is soaked with perspiration. I put a cold compress on her forehead and offer her a sip of water, but she won't have it. She is ivory pale. I check her vitals. Her heartbeat is regular, but her blood pressure is high. She's not bleeding, so there doesn't seem to be anything to worry about. Tuesdays are always a midwife's busiest day. More babies are born on a Tuesday the world over than any other day of the week. Sundays are typically the slowest. Late summer is the busiest time of the year. Boy babies outnumber girl babies, but they also have a lower survival rate. Jacob is the most popular name for boy babies, and Emily for girls. June seems to have come round and is breathing well. She's getting ready for the next contraction. They are less than a minute apart now. She begins to growl. It looks like we are in business. I beep the nurse that will look after June while I'm busy with the baby. I listen to the baby's heartbeat, and it is beautifully even. Nurse Spencer arrives with a polystyrene cup of tea. I thought you could do with it, she froths. It's Susan, isn't it? I look at her blankly. The unruly curls pinned down with her white cap, the straining uniform, the equine teeth. Your name? She prods. Oh, yes, it's Susan. It wasn't a trick question. I half laugh. I'm sorry, it's been a long labor. I don't want to take the cup, but I do. It'll be over soon. I can see that she's not sure of me. She likes people who smile constantly. The tea is cool and weak. She probably doesn't like working with new people. I'm temping at the moment. Usually I freelance. Home births are my speciality. I move around a lot. I like change. I never drive the same car for more than a few months. I'm always coloring, cutting, or extending my hair. I buy new clothes in each new town. It's kind of a tradition now. I give the old ones away, usually to the Salvation Army. I like to travel light. June has given up screaming and has settled instead for a primal groan. Nurse Spencer is talking to her in a low, comforting voice. I crunch the polystyrene cup into a ball and slip it into my pocket. I snap on a new pair of latex gloves. My fingers slide into June easily, and I can feel that her cervix is now open a full 10 centimeters. If all goes well, we'll have a baby within the next few minutes. Are you ready to push? I ask her. I first met June 3 months ago when she was interviewing midwives. She's the reason I came to St. Mary's Hospital. I drove the 300 kilometers to the interview and never went back home. June wanted me, and it's a nice town, so there was no reason for me to go anywhere else. Sister Angelica looked me up and down and through pursed lips agreed that the hospital would take me on a temporary basis. My new look had worked. Shiny, nut-colored hair and matching brown contact lenses, all bought from the pharmacy on the way over. A woolly cardigan to go over my collared dress, showing only just enough neck to reveal the third pharmacy purchase, a cheap gold cross necklace. Push, Nurse Spencer urges. June's screwed-up face is flushed now. Her clamped teeth escape her grimace. That's good, June, you're doing well. Pushing, groaning, breathing. A few more pushes and we'll have a beautiful little boy. A frustrated sob. A half scream. We're almost there. I can see his head. Nurse Spencer tap dances. With her bellow from June, her baby's head crowns. Before asking her to push again, I check that the umbilical cord is not wrapped around his neck. The hardest part is over, June, I say. All you have to do is finish off now. She half nods at me. The rest of the baby slips smoothly out. He's out, I say, and the nurse dances again. He's not breathing. His skin is blue. I clap him on the bum and we all hold our breath until his small cry peels out. Nurse Spencer checks up on June while I attend to the baby. I clamp and sever the umbilical cord in a practiced motion. I carry him to the corner of the room, put the suction tube into his mouth, and gently wipe his skin. I weigh him. Then I swaddle him tightly in a soft cream cotton receiving blanket. "You did such a good job," Nurse Spencer is telling June. "Is he okay?" pants June. "He's perfect. He'll be with you in a minute. He's just having his toes counted." June closes her eyes and surrenders to the snowflake-patterned white sheets of her bed. Nurse Spencer fusses around her. "Nurse," I say calmly, "call the doctor." Her face jumps. "Is there something the matter?" she whispers. The words, now so familiar, need no thought. "Just call the doctor." She paces out of the room. I take the syringe of tranquilizer out of my handbag, attach the needle, and puncture June's IV tube with it. I've learned to not leave marks. As I empty the syringe, her eyes flutter open and then close again. I pick up the baby, plug his searching mouth with the pacifier, and ease him into the padded tote bag I had hidden behind the metal cabinet. I zip it up. The material is light and breathable, but keeps the baby warm. This has almost become too easy. My soles squeak on the polished linoleum floor as I leave the room and turn the corner. I smile sweetly as I pass Sister Angelica in the corridor. Within 2 minutes of dispatching the nurse, I walk out of the hospital, gently swinging my bag. The sun is bright, the trees are green, and I have a new town to get to. The end.